Hi, I'm Mr. Pipsley and I'm glad to see you all here on this channel. If you're interested in hearing a story about zombies and how they took over the world, then you're in for a treat. But before I begin, I want to encourage you to like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. By doing so, you'll be able to stay up to date with all the latest content and never miss out on any exciting stories. So sit back, relax, and let's delve into the world of zombies. I promise it'll be a thrilling ride. In a world plagued by a zombie apocalypse, a skilled hunter named Jack had been making a living by catching zombies and selling them to a factory that turned them into all sorts of strange treats for the residents of a nearby city. Jack had been doing this for years and had made a name for himself as the best zombie hunter in the land. He had an assistant named Max who was loyal, hardworking, and had a heart of gold. Jack and Max had set out early one morning, armed with their manual harpoon with snares with loops ready to catch some zombies. They headed to a nearby forest where the zombies were known to be plentiful. As they made their way through the dense underbrush, they came across a group of zombies. Jack signaled to Max to be quiet, and they both crept closer to the group. Jack took aim with his harpoon and launched it at the nearest zombie. The harpoon caught the zombie by the leg, and the snare tightened around it, immobilizing it. Jack quickly ran over to the zombie and set a trap on it, making sure that it couldn't escape. Max, meanwhile, had spotted another zombie hiding in a nearby bush. He quickly set a trap and caught the zombie as well. With two zombies caught, Jack and Max continued their hunt. They made their way through the forest, using all their skills to track and catch the zombies. They encountered zombies hiding in pits, barrels, boxes, and even puddles. But Jack and Max were not deterred. They caught every zombie they encountered, setting traps and snares, and making sure that they were all immobilized and ready to be taken to the factory. As the day wore on, Jack and Max made their way to a nearby swamp. The zombies here were particularly dangerous, as they could move quickly through the murky waters. But Jack and Max were well prepared. They had brought along special traps that could be set in the water, making it almost impossible for the zombies to escape. For hours, they hunted in the swamp, catching zombie after zombie. They worked quickly and efficiently, making sure that they caught as many zombies as they could before nightfall. By the time the sun began to set, they had caught dozens of zombies, all ready to be taken to the factory. Jack and Max loaded the zombies into a cage, ready to transport them to the factory. They made their way through the forest, carrying the cage between them. The zombies were restless, crashing around and moaning loudly, but Jack and Max were used to it. They had been doing this for years and had become experts at handling zombies. Finally, they arrived at the factory. The factory was a strange place, full of weird machinery and strange smells. But Jack and Max were used to it. They had been here many times before, and they knew exactly what to do. They unloaded the zombies and handed them over to the factory workers, who began to process them. The zombies were turned into ice cream, lollipops, cocktails, hot dogs, and hamburgers. It was a strange sight to see, but Jack and Max had grown used to it. They knew that the residents of the nearby city loved these strange treats, and they were happy to provide them. As they left the factory, Jack and Max looked back at the strange building. It was a strange business, but it was one that had kept them alive for many years. They knew that they would continue to hunt zombies and bring them to the factory as long as they could. The sun had begun to set, and Jack and Max made their way back to their cabin. They were tired but happy. They had caught many zombies that day, and they knew that they had provided a valuable service to the strange city. As they sat around the fire that night, they talked about the day's events and reminisced about their past adventures. Suddenly, they heard a loud banging on the door. Jack and Max jumped up, ready to defend themselves against whatever was outside. But when they opened the door, they were greeted by a group of smiling faces. It was the residents of the strange city, come to thank them for their hard work. They had brought gifts of food and drink, and they sat down with Jack and Max, eager to hear their stories. For hours, they talked and laughed, telling stories of their adventures and sharing their hopes for the future. As the night wore on, the residents of the strange city said their goodbyes and made their way back home. Jack and Max watched them go, feeling a sense of contentment that they hadn't felt in a long time. As they settled down for the night, Jack and Max knew that they were living in a strange world. But they also knew that they were doing their part to make it a little bit better. They fell asleep, dreaming of the adventures that tomorrow would bring. From that day on, Jack and Max continued to hunt zombies and bring them to the factory. They became well known throughout the land, and their reputation as the best zombie hunters in the land grew. But they never forgot the strange city or the people who lived there, and every once in a while, They would make the journey to the city just to see the smiling faces and hear the laughter that had become so familiar to them. Years passed and Jack and Max grew old. They knew that their days as zombie hunters were numbered, and they began to plan for a future without the thrill of the hunt. But they also knew that they had made a difference in the world, and that was all that mattered. As they sat on the porch of their cabin, watching the sun set over the horizon, Jack and Max knew that they had lived a full and exciting life. And they were content in the knowledge that they had made the world a little bit brighter, one zombie at a time. As the years passed, Jack and Max became more and more known for their zombie hunting skills, and they even began to teach their techniques to other aspiring hunters. They trained a new generation of hunters to take up the fight against the zombie menace and keep the strange world safe. But despite all the fame and success, Jack and Max never forgot the importance of their work. They continued to hunt zombies until their very last days, always striving to make the world a little bit safer. Eventually, the day came when Jack and Max knew that they had to retire from zombie hunting. They had grown old and tired, and their bodies could no longer keep up with the demands of the hunt. But they refused to go down without a fight. Together, they devised a plan to end the zombie menace once and for all. They set out into the forest with their trusty harpoons and snares, determined to catch the biggest, most dangerous zombies they could find. After weeks of hunting, they finally came across a group of massive, terrifying zombies. These were the most dangerous zombies in the land, and they knew that catching them would be their greatest challenge yet. Jack and Max used all their skills and experience to set traps and catch the zombies. It was a dangerous and grueling battle, but they fought on, driven by their determination to succeed. Finally, after many long hours, they succeeded in capturing the last of the massive zombies. With the help of the new generation of hunters they had trained, they took the zombies to the factory where they were turned into ice cream lollipops, cocktails, hot dogs, and hamburgers. The people of the strange city were overjoyed at the news that the zombie menace had finally been eradicated. They threw a huge celebration in honor of Jack and Max, thanking them for their many years of service and dedication. As the party raged on, Jack and Max sat together, watching the festivities with pride and contentment. They knew that their work was done and that they had made a difference in the world. In the end, Jack and Max passed away peacefully, surrounded by their friends and loved ones. But their legacy lived on, and the people of the strange city never forgot the brave hunters who had saved their world from the zombie menace. And so the world continued to turn, filled with its strange wonders and its even stranger dangers. But for those who lived there, it was a world of adventure and excitement, a world where anything was possible as long as there were brave hunters like Jack and Max to keep the darkness at bay. Years passed, and the world slowly began to change. The strange city grew and prospered, its people living in peace and safety thanks to the efforts of the zombie hunters. New technologies were developed, and the world became a safer place. But even as the world changed, the memory of Jack and Max lived on. The people of the strange city erected a monument in their honor, a towering statue that stood as a testament to their bravery and dedication. The statue depicted the two hunters standing side by side, their harpoons and snares at the ready to face any danger that might come their way. And as the years passed, the legend of Jack and Max grew. Children would tell stories of the brave hunters who had saved the world from the zombie menace, and parents would nod in agreement, remembering the days when the world had been a much more dangerous place. But for all the fame and glory that came their way, Jack and Max remained humble. They never forgot their roots as simple hunters, and they always remained true to their principles of honor, courage, and loyalty. And so, as the world continued to turn and new generations of hunters rose to take their place, the memory of Jack and Max remained strong. They had become legends in their own time, and their legacy would live on for generations to come. As for the strange world itself, it remained a place of wonder and adventure, filled with strange creatures and even stranger dangers. But for the people who lived there, it was a world of beauty and possibility. A world where anything was possible as long as there were brave hunters like Jack and Max to keep them safe. And so, as the sun set on the strange world and darkness descended, the people of the strange city would light their lanterns and gather around the statue of Jack and Max, telling stories of their bravery and heroism. And as they did, they would know that the world was a better place, because of the two brave hunters who had risked everything to make it so. Well, the story has come to an end. I am sure you liked this story, and you will like it with pleasure. Also subscribe to our channel and be sure to leave your feedback in the comments under this video. See you in the next video.